Now I'm going to go over building a skeleton for a bipedal character or even for a creature. I'm just going to go over a few things that this skeleton's already built. As you can see, these joints are really big, and I'm just going to use the joint size to lower that down to a more manageable size. But I'm going to kind of go over building joints for IK, and that's actually you have to do, there's one particular thing you have to make sure is correct is your knee. Your knee has to be in the right spot, of course, but your orientation has to be working so when your knee goes back on one axis like this. If the knee axis is kind of like this is cutting down here, basically there's nothing in this spot to bend it, what will happen is it will twist it to line it up, and then it will go. So then you get this weird geometry deformation down here, which is not good at all. So I'm going to kind of go over how to build a skeleton for the leg, and so I will get rid of these guys. Just a quick little thing with the spine. I actually like to put the spine kind of closer to the back area, because that's kind of more where you would normally rotate for, which will allow you to get better compression in the stomach, from what I've been noticing when I weight characters. And I usually do 3 joints. I sometimes do a 3rd joint, but realistically your chest does not rotate in the center because it's a rib cage. I just have a joint for the pelvis, the stomach, and the chest. Those are the 3 that I do. So let's go over the leg. I'm going to go to my side view. I'm going to create a joint there to the knee. You always want to have a slight bend in the knee, in the leg, for the IK to bend properly. If it's perfectly straight, sometimes the knee will bend the wrong way, and you have to kind of take it apart and put it back together again. There's my leg, and then I'm going to create 3 joints, one right there, one for the toe, which is about there, and one for the very tip of the toe. This is the only time I put a tip of the toe joint in. And if we have time, I'll go over why I would do that. I'll show you the reasoning for that later. Alright. Now that just created it in the dead center. So I'm going to take this leg and move it over to about here. And overall, it's actually, this leg is built very, very straight. But I want to go, if it's slightly angled, if your leg is slightly angled, I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to favor a little bit inside, but you can almost get it to where it's straight. So I'm going to get it there and show you how to get it so it lines up right. For the bottom 3 joints that I created here, I'm going to move that to the center of the foot, out there. Alright, so I got the center, I got the leg coming down. Well, let's get this aligned right. This is the time where you can kind of rotate it. So we're going to sit there and rotate it this way. So this is one way you can kind of do it. You can rotate it here. Or, if we zero this back out, which is in a set, I'm going to be kind of doing the same thing, but it's going to be one step. So I'm going to hit Control A. Let's just do that. So we have the joint orients down here. Right now we have -90, no, 90, -7, -90. Don't know why it created that. I guess because of the alignment kind of coming down. But our rotations for animation is all set to 0, which is ideal. But as you can see, the alignment for the joints are, if you double click on this, we can set it to object. You can kind of see it's coming down. So if you want to, in a sense, go in the positive, it'll actually go down. It's reoriented the joint to go in this particular direction. So this is the, if you select the joint and go back to Control A, this is kind of it rotating to point down, so that's going down now. That's why these values are in there. But if I want to kind of rotate the leg a little bit, but keep these values 0, what you do is you go to the Y, select it, make sure your cursor's in there, hold down Control, make sure you middle mouse click in here. Okay, apparently that's forward and backwards. The blue line's coming down, so I guess it's the Z. So Control, and then you can rotate it out. And this is leaving everything 0 and making sure your knee will still bend on the 0 path. So it's bending perfectly at where the knee would bend. I like to come down to here and then reconnect my foot, the bottom joints here to here, and hit P. So now they're connected. So now that leg is in. I want to go over one other thing. Let's do the I'm going to kind of just build the leg out over here. So say I wanted to do the same thing. I'm just going to use this as reference and rotate it out. I built the entire foot kind of thing. You can actually rotate it. Say actually I would need these to be zeroed out. If you want to zero these out, you actually have to do something else. Modify freeze transformations, and I froze at all my joints, so everything's set back to 0, 0. So now if I come in here, move it, and I actually rotate it to that angle that I kind of was talking about, you can take this value here, copy it, and paste it in here for the joint orient, which will push it even more, but then you come back and zero it out, and there it is. So you can do it by hand. You can rotate them by hand, and that will work. So let's get rid of that. So that's the leg. And the way I like to do my naming for my joints is a little bit different. It's my own personal style of naming. When I go to my hypergraph, hit F. Here's the leg that I just created. I'm going to put a group node underneath it, select the entire leg, come up here and type in left leg. That's pretty much it, left leg, and hit enter. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'll take this guy off and delete this node, and come back to the left leg and rename it underscore hip. And this will keep everything in your component editor, if you come to it, knee, in a nice order. It'll be leg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you put the detailed information after. Left leg, foot, heel. I put no weight on this because I don't want to weight this one. Toe, toe, tip, no weight. So there's my leg. And the cool part about Maya, if your character is symmetrical, you can mirror the joints over. So I'm going to select that joint. I'm going to go to skeleton, mirror joints, option box. I'm going to flip it on the YZ. I'm going to flip the behavior, which will actually make it so if you rotate the leg out, like on the Z path, it'll actually rotate the leg out on the Z path instead of both legs going this way. So that's what the behavior does. I'm going to look for L underscore and replace with R underscore and hit apply. And now we have a full right leg named properly and put in the right spot. And the correct spot is probably better since we're using rights and left to say. So those are your legs. So now your arm. Let's go over how I'm building the arm. So I'm going to delete that. So that's building the legs. The arms have a very similar process, but the arm has a interesting bend in the arm. If you twist your wrist, it actually, your forearm you can't actually, if you hold your wrist and try to twist your hand, you can't twist your hand. But when you twist your wrist, when you let go and you twist, your forearm is actually doing a rotation in here. I'm going to show you how to build IK to get that twist in there. Build a skeleton arm so you can get twist in the arm. And let's do that. So we just did the skeleton legs.